guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. We're back here in my backyard because you know what? We have that one SUV that kind of has changed its philosophy on what it wants to be. This is a 2021 Chevrolet Blazer. Our particular one is a 3LT RS edition. But before we get into this midsize SUV, let's talk about what's going on here. The Chevy Blazer has been around since 1969, if you could believe that. Now, I know a lot of people were hoping and praying that Chevy was gonna bring back the Blazer in an off-road kind of way, especially with the reintroduction of the Ford Bronco. Those two have been the main competitors against one another, arch rivals for so many years. Chevrolet brought back the Blazer name, and they kind of almost blended it with the Chevy Camaro in many different ways, especially with this RS when it comes to style. Now, I could sit here and we can compare it to the Ford Bronco, especially with the return for 2021, but that's not really gonna be an apples to apples comparison. So what we're gonna do is we're actually still gonna do a Chevy Ford comparison, but we're gonna compare this Chevrolet Blazer not to the Bronco, but to the Ford Edge. That is another mid-size two-row SUV that really is gonna be more in the alignment of what the philosophy and the idea behind the Blazer. One thing is for certain, in today's market, there's a plethora of SUVs that you could buy should this be the mid-size that you're gonna be buying, especially if you're comparing it to the Ford Edge. Let's go ahead, let's dive into our 2021 Chevy Blazer RS and find out. Right off the bat, I was talking about the Camaro. You could clearly see the design philosophy at the front of the business that kind of ties it with the Chevrolet Camaro. Now, Chevrolet decided to go split headlight design. So you're gonna have your projector beam headlight down low with some gloss black, no fake vents, which is the good news. Up top, you're gonna have your LED daytime running lamp. And since this is an RS package, you're gonna get the beautiful black chrome finish. Really like this a lot more than the shiny chrome that you'll find on other trims. Now, as you work your way down, you are gonna get more gloss black, which when the vehicle's new, looks fantastic. Only time will tell how these gloss black areas will wear over time. But coming across that center grille, it just screams Camaro SUV, doesn't it? Now, RS, if you ever wonder what does it stand for, it stands for Rally Sport. And Rally Sport has never been a performance option. It is more design option, especially going back to the 1960s with the Chevrolet Camaro. You could get an RS SS, but this Rally Sport has that nice bright red badge. I like the way they place it in there. You get that massive grille opening, forward-facing camera functionality up top, even functionality in this smaller grille section, which kind of just blends it all in. I'm so glad they went with a black bow tie. Wouldn't that have been cool if they would have made a flow tie here to help bring extra air? But working your way down, gloss black is the name of the game. And if you're comparing this to the Ford Edge, definitely sportier than the Ford Edge and more aggressive looking. If that's the style that you're going for, the Blazer brings it. Now, going up onto the hood, I love the way they put a nice fold. It meets cleanly with that top part of the grille. And then body lines are actually very clean. You're just gonna have a rise that goes towards each A-pillar. You have a peak in the center, and then a little bit of a light bend on both sides as well, just to give it that extra flow. Like I said, when it comes to style, I really think that compared to the Ford Edge, this definitely has more style on the exterior. Now, coming around the bend, what are we working with? Wheel and tire setup on our particular Blazer. You're looking at this 20-inch wheel. You can get an optional 21-inch wheel. Love the flat gunmetal gray, machined aluminum finish. Looks clean with our particular silver one. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what is the tire on this wheel? You're looking at 235 on the width, 55 series sidewall. The Blazer is front-wheel drive based. Ours is optional with all-wheel drive, and that's another comparison to the Ford Edge. Ford Edge is front-wheel drive based, but you can get all-wheel drive. I do like the way it's got the gloss black, not from a wear perspective, but from a style perspective. I like the gloss black. It breaks up with the silver very nicely. I'm glad that they didn't go just flat black plastic, but definitely sporty style wheel and combo. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what kind of ground clearance do we have here? You're looking at about 7.6 inches of ground clearance. So this really is not meant, even with the all-wheel drive, to really be that off-road vehicle that it once was. Now, going down the side of the vehicle, you do have the Blazer name with the gloss black badging. I wish they would have just brought it down a little bit more. It's kind of weird having it in the center of the door, so I am gonna zonk that, but you're gonna have your gloss black with the dark chrome finish on that lower sill, color matched on the mirror caps. I love the way they went blacked out on the A-pillars. Nice flat roof design. Could you imagine this thing being a Blazer SS? Chevy, make it. Put that 6.2 liter V8 engine underneath the hood. I bet you that would really boost up some sales. But as we slide down the side, you're gonna have your gloss black roof rails. The one body line that really shows motion from the side is right here. It starts on the driver's side, passenger up here, going into the rear passenger, and curves up into that rear quarter window. And then as we kind of trickle around, you'll notice that we have that gloss black, give you that almost floating roof design that you see on a lot of other brands. So the gloss black here to separate the roof from the rest of the rear of the vehicle. And then coming around the back, just like we started up front, very aggressive. I love the style. You're gonna have a nice low roof spoiler. You do have a rear wiper. And I wish that they would have tucked that underneath. That would have really cleaned up this whole back area. But the way they did the taillights, once again, very Camaro, almost very C8-esque in a way. LED brake lights, you got your RS badge, and then dropping all the way down, we got our blacked out Blazer all-wheel drive, a very, very aggressive rear diffuser area, and then you're gonna have an exhaust on each side. And they're not just decorative trim rings, they're actual exhausts. That's another nice touch. And of course, underneath this, you take this off, you can tow with your Chevy Blazer. But why don't we pop the hood and see what's powering our Blazer RS. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have hydraulic hood struts. Underneath the hood, you do have a variety of different engines. On our particular Blazer RS, we have the top engine. And what is that top engine? It's a 3.6 liter naturally aspirated V6 that's gonna give us 308 horsepower, 270 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to a 9-speed automatic transmission, 0 to 60 in about 6.1 seconds, quarter mile, 14.6 seconds. The Blazer RS with all-wheel drive weighs around 4,250 pounds. MPGs, 19 in the city, 26 on the highway. Not the sexiest of engines whatsoever when it comes to style, but boy, oh boy, wouldn't that be a dream come true to have the return of the Blazer SS and get a 6.2 liter naturally aspirated V8. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to the interior and see what the Blazer brings to the table. All right, guys, we're in this 2021 Chevrolet Blazer RS. This is a 3LT with all-wheel drive. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, it seems that it's harder and harder to find a sporty mid-size SUV. Everything's got 3 rows. I just need 2 rows. I don't want to have any more kids. I can't take it, but I want a sporty SUV. How much is this Chevrolet Blazer RS? Very good question you have. MSRP, the way that this one is optioned, is right around $44,000. Let's see what you get for the money to the door panels. Now, it's a little disappointing because at the tippy top of the door panel, it's hard plastic. I'm shocked they did not use soft material. You do get that carbon flash metallic trim around where the door lock and the door handle is. It does show fingerprints, but not bad as regular gloss black. I do like the leather style trim in the midsection of the door. Armrest is still very stiff and hard. You're not really going to want to put your arm there, but it does look good with the red stitching. That's part of the RS package. You do have the official Chevrolet Twinkie tray in the middle of the door panel. You could actually fit 3 Twinkies without busting any cream anywhere. And then, of course, you do have a door pocket there for a bottle of water. I prefer a bottle of Yoo-Hoo with my Twinkies. Lori likes to drink the water with hers. Bose sound system going from the door panel to the dash. Here's more of that Camaro feel. The way that they did the AC vents with the red trim, I do like it. Very Camaro-esque. The black chrome they took from the outside, they brought it to the inside. The red stitching is very, very tasteful. You do have an ability to just hit the button to open up your glove box. Kind of interesting the way they actually give you a button. But what are you greeted to? You're greeted to an 8-inch infotainment system. Now, if you're comparing this to the competition, many of them have larger screens, but it's not always about the size. Sometimes it's about how you use it. And well, actually, a lot of times it's how you use it. And Chevrolet does a great job with their infotainment. You have navigation, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. One of the reasons why I love it so much is that it's just very intuitive. Nice, clear graphics. You could go ahead and bring up your climate control. Very, very simple. Some of the other systems, like in the Subaru Outback, or maybe an Acura product, you don't have a touch screen. Look at the camera. The camera technology out the front. So that's our front-facing camera. You got 360, and then you could adjust. Look, you want to look at those wheels? Bling, bling, 20-inch wheels. Throw it into reverse. There we are, back up. And the same great camera quality. So that's why, even though it's an 8-inch, I prefer this system. Kind of weird how they went with the shiny chrome finish. I wish they would have went with the dark chrome around the infotainment, but still easy to use. You do have your start-stop button conveniently placed high up, so you're not going to miss it. And then this is all Chevrolet Camaro. Ventilated seats, heated seats. You adjust the temperature just like on a Camaro by twisting the trim ring. You got your blower fan speed switches, USB-C, USB, and wireless charging. A little bit more red stitching is very tasteful. This is going to control that 9-speed automatic. Look at it, it says RS. What does RS stand for? This is the test. This is your quiz. Yes, you're correct. In the back corner, Rally Sport. 2 cup holders, more of that carbon flash metallic. You do have a mode selector knob to go into your different modes. I'll show you more of that when you come to the driver's side, the business end. Standard Chevy key fob. Would have been nice if they blacked out the key fob. You do have the remote start, which is very tasteful, but the bow tie should be blacked out on an RS. And then look, for the passenger, you actually have another Twinkie storage area. So the passenger gets all the Twinkies, 4 Twinkies in there for those trips, so they're not going to get hangry. You got enough room here for some atomic fireballs. Suck on one of those and then kiss somebody, really make their day. Red stitching. Open this bad boy. What do we got? We got a party tray. Fill it up with Planters peanuts, maybe some pistachios, and enough room for a family-sized bag of Twizzlers, 10-pound bag, USB-C, USB, and a 12-volt. So you can keep your Twizzlers nice and warm, nice and soft. And then the seats, pure RS. Red stitching, love the perforated material. You do have full electric assist as I try to figure out how to put this tray back for the passenger. Seats are a little on the stiff side, and I would like a little bit more bolstering. No sunroof. No sunroof, no panoramic sunroof. That's a little bit of a shocker at this price point, but what you do get, like I said, technology and cameras. Look at that. You got your digital rear view mirror. I could read the license plate number off that Honda Accord. 26ZWY3. Crazy how clear that is. But why don't you come over to the business end? I want to show you behind the wheel of this Blazer RS. All right, guys, business time. You do have 2 memory seat settings on the driver's side. A little bit of a aluminum Chevrolet sill plate to welcome you as you come into your Blazer. There's your seat controls. Get that lower lumbar kicking. Steering wheel could have been a little sexier. I feel like the appearance is so sporty. And then what the heck? Did they run out of RS badges? An RS badge right here would have been perfect. But you do have that aluminum style finish looking great. They did black out the bow tie to match up front. You have the red stitching, electric tilting, and telescoping steering wheel. And then the dash I really dig. You have that nice large digital display in the center, analog tach. Then you're gonna have some auxiliary gauges and then an analog coolant gauge and fuel gauge. Here's our different modes. Real easy to twist and go into the different modes. I wish that the screen would change. That's sport. What you get is a green checkered flag, which kind of doesn't make any sense, but because the checkered flag is black and white. But would have been nice to change that up. But you do have off-road mode, you got tow mode. They really got you covered when it comes to those types of settings. But why don't we go ahead? This is a midsize. We do have 2 rows. Let's get to the back seat and see how your passengers are going to enjoy this Chevrolet Blazer. All right, guys, backseat time, and I'm telling you, on the outside, the Blazer looks like your backseat passengers are going to be hurting for space. Tons of room in here. Remember, I'm 6 feet tall. Tons of room back here. You do have that leather style material all the way around. A little tight on the pocket. Maybe 2 slices of pizza from Sbarro's. That's about it. Don't even put extra cheese on it because you're going to make a mess. You do get rear AC, which is a nice, pleasant welcome. USB-C, USB, and a home power source. And then look what they got down there. A nice little tray. You could actually put some chocolate chip muffins, maybe some blueberry muffins down there. I have my own pocket for a couple slices of good old Sbarros. Like I said, plenty of room. I get some red stitching to look at and a nice armrest. The only problem is harder than a rock. If there was ever a way to make an armrest harder than a rock, this one is it. It's like a brick. I think there might be a brick in there, but you do have 2 cup holders, which is nice. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to the cargo area, because I heard there's plenty of room in a Blazer. Let's go find out. All right, guys, cargo area time, always important on an SUV. And definitely, even though this looks like a Camaro, you're gonna get more room than a Camaro in this cargo area. So you're gonna push the button, nice electric assist, opens up, and what are you gonna be greeted to? Very wide opening, very tall opening. We got our, of course, required nooks for a box of Twinkies on each side. Very, very important on those family road trips. You have your handles to pull down, to fold down the rear seats. I'll show you that in a second. And then on the passenger side, like I said, we have another nook for another box of Twinkies, and you have a 12 volt. Just don't stick your Twinkie in there. It will hurt. Don't ask me how I know. Not from personal experience, but you're looking at 30.5 cubic feet of space with the seats up. Fold the seats down, and you're now looking at 64.2 cubic feet of space. And to fold the seats down, it's so easy. Watch this. 1, 2, 3, open sesame, boom. Go to the other side. 1, 2, 3, buckle your shoe, tie a knot. There you go. Now you're looking, like I said, over 64 cubic feet of space. What do we got under the cargo mat, Joe? We have, for our winners, a spare tire setup. So you're gonna get your spare, you're gonna be good to go. But you know what? I'm ready to go. If you're ready, I'm extra ready. Let's go on throttle in our Blazer RS. All right, guys, we're in the 2021 Chevrolet Blazer RS. I have it in sport mode because obviously this is Rady's Rides, and what do? We go on throttle, here we go. So that 9-speed automatic drops down actually very smoothly and gets you off and going. The V6 naturally aspirated option, I think, has a nice balance of power and torque. It pulls very linear because it is naturally aspirated. Remember, if we're comparing this to the Ford Edge is gonna have a bunch of EcoBoost options. A lot of times when it comes to turbochargers, there's gonna be that delay in when the turbo builds its boost and gets you going. With this Blazer RS, with the V6, you don't have that situation. Now, there are smaller engine choices for the Blazer, which do include a turbo, but we don't have that one. We have the one with the V6. Getting to everything on the interior is well laid out. And like I said, if you want something that's quote unquote sporty, this is gonna be a sporty mid-size SUV. But on throttle, here we go. All-wheel drive, getting the power to the ground very effectively. Of course, people zoom in every which direction. Just got to be on your toes because there's never a dull moment on Rady's Rides. Brakes feel good. I like the layout of the instrumentation. That nice large digital speedometer in the center. You can scroll through a cornucopia of information. You got your wireless charging, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, plenty of charging locations in here as well. Not only for up front, but also in the rear. And the nice thing is, up front, you do have ventilated and heated seats. Those backseat passengers at least get heated seats, which is a nice extra touch for them. The one thing that's just really missing in here is some type of sunroof. And I was expecting a panoramic sunroof on this particular one, but we don't have it. All right, guys, pulling away from the light. I love having that all-wheel drive option that ours has. Gets the power to the ground very effectively. Obviously, it's gonna be front-wheel drive until the vehicle detects some kind of slippage. Like I was saying, here in Florida, we got people zigzagging every which direction, but having that power get to the ground very effectively. It's gonna be great for people, of course, that live in those very snowy climates, but even here in Florida, having the rainy situations also help as well. I'm gonna slow down once again so that we could go on throttle with this naturally aspirated V6. On throttle, here we go. 9-speed drops down, pulls all the way to red line, on the brakes. Steering actually feels really good in sport mode. And then obviously in sport mode, that's gonna adjust throttle sensitivity, how the transmission behaves with the engine. But they did some nice tuning to the chassis in this Chevrolet Blazer. It's just, I wish that it could just decide what it wants to be. If you want to be a sporty SUV, give me a little bit more sport, because it's got the look. If you want to be an off-road SUV, which clearly it doesn't want to be that, then you need to have some other kind of option for people, because now with the Ford Bronco, obviously the long-standing Jeep Wrangler, Chevy doesn't have anything in this mid-size SUV segment that is off-road worthy. And if you're saying right now to me, well, what about the Tahoe, Joe? No, the Tahoe is a full-size. That's not a mid-size SUV. And yes, they do have the, Z71 package, but that, like I said, is a full-size SUV. Visibility in this thing is definitely better than a Chevy Camaro, so I can attest to that. Having the digital rear view mirror is a nice touch. What I want to do is I want to get it out on the highway and see how it drives, especially with the 20-inch wheels. Is it going to be a harsh ride? Is it going to make a bunch of road noise? We're going to find out. All right, guys, pulling away from the light. Like I said, we're going to go on throttle on highway to see how this Blazer is. I'll be honest, I do like the layout of all the controls up here. It does feel sporty from a space perspective. The infotainment system, easy to use, very intuitive. But here we go. If you're ready, I'm ready. On throttle, here we go, on the highway. Smooth shifting transmission. You're not gonna have any issues getting up to speed. But like I said, wouldn't it be fascinating to actually have a 6.2 liter naturally aspirated V8 under the hood? That would be very, very fascinating. But going down the highway, no fuss, no muss, really easy to navigate in your lane. There's a little bit of wind noise, but nothing too crazy. Road noise isn't terrible. And like I said, going down the road, even with the 20-inch wheels, because you got a good sized sidewall, it's actually absorbing a lot of the harsh conditions of the road. But hopefully this gave you a wonderful overview and better understanding of what the Blazer RS is all about. We're gonna get back to where it all began and wrap this one up, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been another crazy day here on Rady's Rise. Never a dull moment. Hurricane winds, but you know what? We keep bringing the action to you. I definitely want to thank Kyle and the rest of the crew over at Chevrolet for allowing Rady's Rise access to this press fleet vehicle. Let me know what you think about the Blazer. Should Chevrolet rethink it and make it a true competitor to the Bronco? Would you rather have the Blazer over a Ford Edge? I think very unique styling and definitely some features that really make it separate itself from the rest of the midsize SUV pack. But if you want to keep seeing midsize SUVs, compact SUVs, supersized SUVs on Rady's Rides, leave a comment in the comment section. If you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you, we got sirens blasting. So what that means is click the first link in the description, become a Rady's Rise Patreon member. Click the second link, get yourself some Rady's Rise merch. Gotta put it up to the muscle behind the camera. Lori working that camera like a champ. Show her some love in the comment section. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.